Have you ever been in the eye of a storm? There's this strange, almost sacred quiet. The wind dies down, the sky can clear for a moment, and there's a profound stillness that feels completely out of place with the chaos that came before and the deluge you know is coming after. Many of us on a path of deep personal transformation are searching for our own quantum leap, and we've been taught to look for lightning, for a sudden jolt of euphoric energy that signals the breakthrough. But what if the most powerful signal isn't loud at all? What if it's a quiet so deep, so unsettling, that it feels like something is wrong? This is the invisible mistake so many of us make. We misinterpret the sacred stillness as stagnation. We feel the energy drain from our old goals. The routines that once defined us suddenly feel hollow, and we mistake this profound vibrational shift for apathy, or even worse, regression. We think we've lost our way, when in reality, we've arrived at the very threshold we've been seeking. So I want you to consider a question that we will return to at the end of this video. What if this unnerving silence, this feeling that nothing is happening, actually means your new reality is already here, but it's waiting just beyond the veil of your perception? For those of us who feel suspended between two worlds, consider subscribing. This is the space where we make sense of that journey together. That feeling of being in a void isn't a problem to be solved, it's a phase to be understood. Let's offer a new name for it. This isn't stagnation, it's vibrational recalibration. Your entire energetic and nervous system is in the process of letting go of a lifetime of programming, of a frequency that defined your old reality, to make space for a new one. The real key to navigating this phase and completing your quantum leap isn't to push harder, to create more vision boards, or to force yourself to feel excited when you feel empty. The key is to learn how to hold the frequency of your new reality even when your outer world shows no evidence of it yet. Think of it through the lens of quantum physics. Before a particle is observed, it exists in a state of superposition, a wave of infinite possibilities. In the same way, when you are close to a breakthrough, you are in a state of personal superposition. The old you and the new you are coexisting as vibrant potentials. That emotional oscillation you feel, the moments of incredible clarity followed by waves of doubt, the surge of hope followed by the pull of old fears, that's not you failing. That is the evidence of your proximity to the shift. It's the two timelines vying for dominance. And that silent, unseen reality we spoke of a moment ago, it's simply the potential that has gained the most energetic momentum, waiting for you to fully align with it. So how does this vibrational recalibration actually work? Let's break it down, step by step, connecting the science to the feeling. First, your nervous system, which is designed for survival, loves predictability. Your old identity, with all its limitations and familiar struggles, was a known, predictable, energetic signature. As you begin to do the work to embody a new self, you are literally introducing an unknown frequency, and your biology's first reaction is often resistance. It's trying to maintain homeostasis, the familiar state of being. But here is where it gets fascinating. This process goes beyond simple habit breaking. It happens at the level of your brain's physical architecture. This is the science of neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new connections and, just as importantly, pruning away old ones. You've likely heard the phrase, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is how the pathways of your old self were created and reinforced over years. But the inverse is also true. Neurons that no longer fire together, no longer wire together. When you consciously withdraw your attention and energy from the thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions of your past, the neural circuits that represent that old self literally begin to weaken and disconnect. That hollow, unfamiliar feeling, that void, is not just an emotional state. It is the tangible, biological echo of a landscape changing within you. You are literally unwiring the neural architecture of your past. This process requires immense energy, and it creates a temporary vacuum where the old automatic programs don't fire as easily. but the new desired pathways haven't become second nature yet. This is the biological basis for that feeling of being suspended, untethered between two worlds. This biological dissolving is the release phase. It's the moment the old energetic signature begins to break down at a cellular level, before the new one has fully anchored in your physical reality. This is the most critical phase of your quantum leap, and it's one that many of us in this community have felt so acutely. Now let's use a scientific metaphor to ground this. In quantum mechanics, the wave function, that field of pure potential, collapses into a single reality the moment it is observed. For our purposes, your focused, embodied awareness is the observer. The work of neuroscientists like Dr. Joe Dispenza is built on this very principle. By creating brain and heart coherence, you generate a powerful, measurable electromagnetic field. This field carries the energetic information, the signal, that instructs your brain on which new neural pathways to build and strengthen, while also signaling the quantum field of potential. When you consistently place your attention and your feeling state on the reality you desire, you are, metaphorically, instructing that field where to collapse. Think of yourself as a tuning fork. When you strike it, it vibrates at a specific frequency. If you bring another silent tuning fork near it, that second one will begin to vibrate in sympathetic resonance. You are that first tuning fork, and your job during this quantum stillness is simply to hold the vibration of the person you are becoming with unwavering presence until your biology, your brain, and your entire reality begin to resonate in sync with it. Understanding this biological process reveals the common missteps that can unknowingly sabotage our own quantum leap. Because the stillness feels unproductive and unsafe to our survival-oriented brain, our logical mind scrambles to fix it. The most common mistake is overcompensating with frantic action. If you've ever felt that void and immediately thought, I need to journal more, meditate harder, create a new business plan, you've experienced this. Psychologically, this is driven by a cognitive flaw known as action bias. Our brain's default tendency to favor action over inaction, even when inaction is the more strategic and powerful choice. We try to fill the silence with the noise of doing, believing that effort is the antidote to emptiness. But this frantic action is broadcast from the frequency of fear and lack, which only reinforces the very reality we're trying to leave behind. Another misstep is clinging to old identities and routines for comfort. When the future feels uncertain, we retreat to what's familiar. We might reconnect with people who represent our past, or fall back into habits that kept us small. This isn't a failure of willpower, it's the ego protecting itself. Your ego craves consistency and fears the unknown. When you start to change, it creates cognitive dissonance, a state of intense mental discomfort, because your new way of being doesn't match your old self-concept. To resolve this discomfort, the ego will try to pull you back to the old familiar story, anchoring you to the very shore you are trying to depart from. And perhaps the most subtle sabotage is emotional. We interpret the discomfort of transformation as a sign of failure. We feel the confusion, the grief of letting go, or the strange detachment, and we create a story that we've lost our magic, or that this work isn't effective. This happens because our brain is a meaning-making machine that hates uncertainty. It will quickly invent a negative story to explain an unfamiliar feeling rather than sit in the unknown. We judge the process based on outdated metrics, expecting the journey to a new state of being to feel good every step of the way, when in fact, real transformation often feels like dissolving before it feels like expanding. So if any of this feels familiar, I want you to take a deep, conscious breath. Let that sink in for a moment. You haven't done anything wrong. The frustration, the confusion, the feeling of being stuck in an endless hallway, it isn't a sign of your failure. It's a sign of your completion. You have completed the energetic work of the old you, and now you stand in the fertile void, the space where all creation begins. The problem was never a lack of effort on your part. It was simply a misaligned strategy. born from a misunderstanding of what this final stage of transformation is supposed to feel like. You've been trying to build a bridge across a canyon when you were really meant to grow wings and fly. This stillness is not stagnation, it's the runway. This void is not empty, it's receptive, and your new path is available the moment you stop trying to fill the silence and instead choose to listen to it. Your quantum leap isn't dependent on more struggle. It's dependent on your surrender to the person you've already become on an energetic level. If this reframing is bringing you a sense of clarity or relief, please take a moment to like this video. It's a simple, silent way to help this message find its way to others who are sitting in that same quiet, wondering if they're all alone. Let's take a moment for self-reflection. I'm not going to ask you to find an answer right away, but just to hold a question. Let it marinate in your awareness. First, what if nothing is missing? What if this feeling of emptiness is actually a feeling of completeness, and you are simply standing in the silent space between the out-breath of your old life and the in-breath of your new one? Just feel that for a moment. The second question is this: which part of you is still struggling to let go of the familiar, even if the familiar was painful? Which part of you is still trying to find certainty in a process that requires you to befriend the unknown? There's no need to judge the answer, just notice. For people like us, those who've already started waking up to this deeper reality, recognizing this in-between state is a crucial marker of progress. It is the shared, unspoken experience of everyone on the verge of their next great becoming. So how do we practically navigate this stillness to ensure our quantum leap? It's about simple, consistent actions that signal safety and alignment to our nervous system, training it to embrace the new reality. The first and most crucial action is to treat the stillness as a destination, not a void to escape. Schedule 5 to 10 minutes each day to simply sit with it. Your only intention is to be present with the quiet and communicate to your body. This is safe, this is productive, this is the field of creation. When the inevitable urge to fidget, plan, or worry arises, don't fight it. Simply label it in your mind: thinking, planning, urging, without judgment, like noticing a cloud passing in the sky. Then, gently return your awareness to the sensation of your breath or the feeling of stillness in the room. The goal is not an empty mind, but a mind you are no longer controlled by. This practice trains your attention, which is the very tool you use to direct energy and, metaphorically, collapse potential. Over time, you'll rewire your brain to associate this stillness with power, not panic. The second action is what I call embodied frequency. This goes deeper than simple visualization. For a few minutes each day, your goal is to give your body a taste of the future now. Don't just think about peace. Feel the physical sensation of your shoulders loosening and dropping away from your ears. Don't just imagine success. Feel the warmth and expansive quality of confidence in your solar plexus or your heart center. Anchor the feeling in a physical sensation. Close your eyes and ask, how does the version of me who is living this reality breathe? How do they hold their posture? What is the subtle expression on their face? Embody that now for 60 seconds. This is the core of the work, moving from intellectual concept to biological reality. You are sending a new chemical and energetic signal to your cells, telling them a new future has already arrived. And third, start an evidence journal with a twist. Don't just look for huge, external manifestations. Look for the tiniest, most subtle shifts that confirm your new alignment. A moment of unexpected peace, a stranger smiling at you, finding a parking spot right in front. Document these small synchronicities, but add this critical step. Write down what your internal state was just before you noticed it. Were you feeling calm, grateful, present? This helps you draw a direct, conscious link between your inner frequency and the feedback you're getting from the field. It proves to your logical mind, with data, that the shift is already underway. Members of our community who commit to these 3 practices often report that their quantum leap seems to happen suddenly, when in reality, They were simply preparing the energetic and biological foundation day by day. For those who want a structured daily path to stay aligned through this entire process. That's exactly why I created the trail. It's a digital journey designed to guide you through this recalibration, providing the tools and coherence to make your leap inevitable. The link for that is in the description below. As you begin to apply these practices, please know this: you will have days where you slip. You will have moments where the old frequency of doubt or fear feels overwhelmingly strong. This is not a sign that it isn't working. It's a sign that your system is calibrating. Think of it like a thermostat. When you change the temperature, the system might kick on and off a few times, making noise and adjustments before it settles into the new, stable environment. Your energy field does the same. So let's reframe the goal for those of us on this path. The victory is not in achieving a perfect, unwavering state of bliss. The real victory is in how quickly you can return to alignment after being knocked off center. The measure of your mastery is the speed of your return. It's about noticing you've slipped into an old thought pattern and gently, without judgment, guiding your awareness back to the frequency of your choosing. Everyone walking this road experiences these fluctuations. It's part of the process of embodiment, and our community understands that these moments are not setbacks, but opportunities to strengthen our resolve. So now, let's close the loop. At the beginning, I asked you to consider what the stillness really means. And the answer is this: the silence is the sign you have been asking for. The unnerving quiet, the emotional turbulence, the feeling that everything is falling away. That is the signal that your quantum leap is not just close, you're in the middle of it. The breakdown of the old is the non-negotiable prerequisite for the breakthrough of the new. Your new reality isn't something you have to go out and find. It is what remains when you finally stop holding on to what is already gone. As a symbolic act of stepping into this new chapter, I invite you to make a declaration. Choose one word that defines the frequency you are now embodying. Is it freedom, abundance, peace, certainty? Claim it. Write that single word in the comments below. Not for me, but for you. Let it be an anchor, a statement to the universe and to yourself that you are ready to stabilize in this new reality. From this moment forward, you are no longer someone who is waiting for a sign. You are someone who can read the silence. You understand that the fertile void is your workshop, and presence is your most powerful tool. This is the new identity you must wear as you walk through the final stages of your quantum leap. The journey doesn't end here. It truly begins in the quiet moments between the actions, in the conscious choice to hold your new frequency. If this message feels like it speaks directly to the path you are on, if you feel like you belong in this conversation about conscious creation, then I invite you to subscribe and join our community. We are just getting started exploring the practical mechanics of transformation. Remember, the most profound changes in your universe are happening right now, in the stillness you once feared. And that is where you will find everything you have been looking for.